If you're running a lab or even a small DIY bio project at home, you want an incubator that doesn't just sit on your bench looking impressive. You need one that actually fits your tubes, shakes them gently, and keeps the temperature steady without turning your workspace into a heat box. The Labnet 222DS Benchtop Shaking Incubator is one of those workhorses that quietly solves the real problems people run into when they try to grow cultures or run enzymatic reactions. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Most benchtop shaking incubators either cram too much into a tiny footprint or leave you hunting for accessories that should have come in the box. The 222DS avoids both traps. It's built around a 15-liter chamber that's deep enough to hold a stack of microplates or a rack of 15 milliliters and 50 milliliters tubes without crowding the shaker platform. That matters when you're juggling multiple experiments and don't want to rearrange everything every time you switch between a plate assay and a tube culture. The included Microplate hotel holds 2 full microplates, and the combo tube holder can take up to 6 15 milliliters tubes or 3 50 milliliters tubes in any mix. No extra clamps or adapters needed. If you've ever fought with a shaker that only accepts one tube size or requires proprietary holders, this is the relief you're after. Where a lot of budget incubators cut corners is in the accessories. You end up ordering sticky mats, clamps, and tube racks separately, and half of them don't fit right. The 222DS ships with sticky mats that actually grip the platform, plus 4 sizes of plastic clamps: 125 ml, 250 milliliters, 500 milliliters, and one else so you can secure flasks or bottles without worrying they'll walk off during a shake cycle. There's also a Petri dish shelf that holds standard 60 mm dishes, which is handy if you're doing plate-based assays and don't want to dedicate shelf space elsewhere. Those little conveniences add up when you're trying to keep your bench tidy and your samples safe. Temperature control is where this model earns its keep. The chamber holds steady between ambient plus 5°C and 65°C, which covers most bacterial and yeast growth ranges and even some enzyme assays. The shaking speed goes from 25 to 250 revolutions per minute, so you can dial in gentle agitation for fragile cells or a more vigorous shake for better aeration. The key detail is that the temperature stays consistent even when the shaker is running at higher speeds, which isn't always true in cheaper units that overheat or cycle unevenly. If you've ever lost a culture because the incubator overshot the set point or the shaker motor added too much heat, you'll appreciate the difference. Setup is straightforward. The unit is plug-and-play for 120V, so you don't need an electrician or a lab tech to get it running. The control panel is basic but functional. Set your temperature, choose your shake speed, and walk away. There's no Wi-Fi or app control, which is fine if you're in a lab where you want the machine to do its job without distractions. The footprint is about the size of a shoebox, so it fits on most benches without hogging space. The only real trade-off is noise. At higher speeds the motor hums, and if your lab is quiet or you're running overnight cultures, you might notice it. It's not loud enough to require hearing protection, but it's not silent either. Who should buy this? If you're running bacterial or yeast cultures, doing microplate assays, or shaking small flasks for protein expression, this incubator has the capacity and the accessories to handle the job without extra shopping. It's also a solid choice if you're in a small lab or a home setup where you need reliability more than bells and whistles. If you're working with mammalian cells that need CO or very tight temperature tolerances, you'll want to step up to a dedicated CO incubator instead. Skip it if you're only shaking a couple of tubes at a time and don't need the microplate capacity or the range of clamps. A smaller shaking incubator or even a simple orbital shaker with a heated platform might be enough. Also, if you need precise temperature ramping or data logging, this model won't give you those features. Bottom line, the Labnet 222DS is the kind of tool that disappears into your workflow because it just works. It's not the flashiest incubator on the market, but it solves the practical problems that come up every day: enough space, the right accessories, steady temperature, and a shake range that actually fits real experiments. If you've ever bought an incubator that felt like a compromise, this one is worth a look. Check it out through the link in the description.